So, as you can see, Dorgrim. Let's see if we're getting, yeah, you do that, and Plunder Loop, yep, I tell them after the session. I can't tell you how many times they tell me it's my game, which is their way of saying that's wrong, but you're the DM. I'll be pulling the DM card tomorrow if they don't fall in line. I try not to do that, but I'm going to have to. And you know what, Dorgrim? If you've been patient, if you've been polite and tactful, and you've continually told your players, we're playing 5th edition, your characters are 5th edition characters, and I don't care if that's how a spell worked in 2nd, that's not how it works in 5th. You know, everything I have planned and balanced for you is on 5th edition rules. If you do not like it, you are welcome to leave my game. Be polite, make eye contact, right? Eye contact is huge. Make eye contact and say, you are welcome to leave this game if you do not like how I'm running it. I'm not trying to screw you over. And you can even prompt them. Do you think I'm trying to screw you over? Do you think I'm trying to murder your character? Do you think I'm trying to stop you from having fun? You knew this was a 5th edition game coming into it. I have the 5th edition books, I'm running 5th edition monsters, and I'm throwing 5th edition spells and attacks at you. Why can't you return that to me? And say it politely, say it tactfully. Be a mirror and reflect the behavior back on them so that they can look into the mirror and see how they're acting themselves. Disappointment as a DM can be a very powerful tool. If you're saying, I want you to have fun, that's the entire reason we get together and play or whatnot, eat dinner together beforehand. Put the mirror in front of them. And then say, if you don't like it, you can leave. I'm not running X edition. I'm not running Pathfinder. I'm not running Dark Heresy. Whatever. And if they get up and leave, the people who stay are probably going to thank you and be like, oh my gosh, I couldn't stand that guy. He was so argumentative. He kept telling you to what to do, as if he was running the game. And your remaining players, you know what? You may go from 3 to 2 players, and you're like, oh, how am I going to do this? Those 2 players are going to be far more engaged now that they don't have to deal with, these other aspects. I'm presuming an example here, and I know I'm on a soapbox right now. But Dorgrim, if you're having that, be polite, be tactful, be respectful, and put the mirror in front of them. And then offer them the way out. And you know what? If all your players, I don't know, let's say all your players are rules lawyers, you weren't really specific. If it was 1 or 2, or you have that guy, or all your people are that guys, then you know what? The game should end because you're not going to have fun. They're not having fun. Why are you getting together every week, every 2 weeks, and playing if none of you are having fun and your players are not willing to accept what you're giving them, despite you wanting to show up and help them have a good time? Plunder Loot, throw skill challenges in the mix too, adds all kinds of fun times. I love skill challenges. That was an awesome part of 4th edition. Bubonic, Morty was loath to travel the plains after he became the leader of the Great Council. Bobicus, if they're falling in line, I don't see much of a problem. OP says, Real Dorgrim, I do what we call in the army an after-action review, wherein I go over this session, going over specific story elements and mechanics introduced, and ask the players specific questions on what they liked and what they didn't, and how as a team we can build a better game. If they do not contribute to the game, to the after-game discussion, then the changes that happened will happen without their input. That's a really cool methodology. That makes a ton of sense. Bubonic, if you think Faerun has had some evil jerks trying to destroy everything they didn't control, Vecna ruined Orth for 2,500 years. There's a master evil genius, yes. Yep, Vecna is behind every plot, and that is a meme, and so therefore it's not true, and therefore that actually means it is true. Dorgrim, no problem. It's always good to hear other people's solutions. I know what I need to do. I'm just procrastinating the actual prep for the game. You know what, though? Dorgrim, use that to empower yourself. Do the prep. In fact, if you really want to, look, if none of your players are here, go a little bit overboard. Make legitimate notes, but write a little bit bigger. Make some charts or maps. Sketch things out. And when you show up, place your work very visibly in front of them and run the game without mentioning it. And if they start giving you a hard time, then you have... Well, I worked very hard for tonight's game. I was very thoughtful and considerate of your characters and the circumstances for the story. But I guess all of this is actually meaningless because I'm not running the game how you want, and all of the time that I spent trying to prepare for this campaign it doesn't mean anything. And you can get up, don't be a big baby about it. I'm not saying that you will, but don't be dramatic, don't be whatever, but say, look, I guess this has no meaning. I'll throw it out. Do you guys recycle here? If you're playing in a store, you're playing at a friend's house, do you guys recycle paper? I don't want to be irresponsible. And if they see that you have a stack of paper and work, that could help. Again, you're putting the mirror in front of them so they can reflect on their own words and actions. Plunderloot says, I always ask after I run a session or scene in World of Darkness how I can improve my storytelling style and what the players enjoyed and what they did not. It will help you step your game up tremendously. Yes, communication. Communication. Bobicus, that's some passive-aggressive BS. I'd leave if someone pulled that on you. And you know what? You would have been offered the chance to leave even before then. Because Bobicus, if I'm running for you and you're rules lawyering me at every turn, this is clearly not the game for you. If I went and I actually prepared maps and I prepared notes and you're coming in and second guessing me as a DM, you should leave because you're not having fun, or I should leave the game because apparently I can't run the game to your standards. And if there's more of you than me, then one of you as the players can step up. I'm clearly not able to run the game that you're looking for. That's not passive aggressive. That is putting everything out there on the table. As a DM, you're not there to cater to rules lawyers or babies. Now, there's a difference. If I mess up as a DM on a rule and you're like, whoa, hey, you add dex to that, not strength, that's one thing. But if they're bringing in older edition rules and other things along those lines, I mean, what can you do? What game are we playing? Other than let's rules lawyer and argue. And that's, for some people that might be fun. I don't know. There's all kinds of people out there in the world. You leave even if I wasn't the rules lawyering. And you know what? That is excellent on you as a player. If you're participating in something that doesn't interest you or you don't like the style, you get up and leave. That is extremely appropriate. Don't be held hostage to a game. I'm not you, Bob, because this is in general, but I'm making eye contact with the camera. If you don't like the way a game is being run, or if there's a player that's a bully, or if there's a DM that is just putting out his or her, is writing a novel in front of you and is not giving you agency and inserts his personal life or fetishes or whatever into the game, and you're like, I just wanted to play Curse of Strahd. I don't care about, I don't care about all these alternative lifestyle things. Get up and leave. That's what you do. Hopefully you communicate and you say why you're leaving, but it happens. Bubonic says it thinks it's good gods who try and hide Vecna's body parts. The evil truth is Vecna likes to screw with heroes everywhere, so he sends them out. Oh yeah, they're like little scouts. Like, yeah, go find people and play with them. Plunderloot, I'm a huge player agency advocate. If they don't enjoy what you're doing, then they are not going to stay. Yeah. If communication fails, as Bobicus indicates, get up and leave. It's that easy. OP, there's also a cool trick you can use where the players say, wait, that's not a real spell, or it doesn't work like this. You as the DM just say it does for this instance because magic. Yeah, and you can even say, look, in this is a special circumstance. There's an atmospheric, whatever. Come up with a bunch of Star Trek technobabble terms. Due to ionic interference, this spell is like this for this combat. It's an environmental hazard. It's something, if you're explaining it and you're contextualizing it, like, look, this is the way it is right in this instance. There you go. Oh, Bubonic, Caden broke last night. He went down to 0 EXP. So you definitely can climb up the ranks. So anyway, hey, you know what, Dorgrim? You got a lot of different opinions. You know, I have mine, and Bobicus made valid points as well. OP was making really good points and suggestions. Plunderloot and Bubonic, while maybe not addressing necessarily, Edition Wars rules lawyering, was also giving some fun things to consider for the history of the realms, because Bubonic is apparently our channel historian for such things. So we can continue the conversation about DM and player interaction. Of course, that was what we were talking about really in depth last night too. I found what I thought was a really cool picture for Bortharian Orbreaker, who is our dwarven sorcerer that we made last night. Right? He's an entertainer. He's a singer. He's an actor. And he was a really compelling character. And though, he got away with not having a particular background, which means our poor soul here will be quite haunted as we prepare our final character tonight for the horror-themed campaign we're going to go into tomorrow. The dungeon and the campaign in parts 1 and 2 respectively. Here's our dice roller. Let's find out, do we have a boy or a girl? Dun, 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 dun. We have a female. Female what? Let's roll a d10 and find out. 3. 1, 2, 3. We have a halfling. And odds or evens again will determine which kind. Evens. We have a Lightfoot halfling. You got copies of all your player sheets, so I'm gonna do. Oh yeah, hey, that's fine, OP. And I can even as you can see here, I have things ready to go for our 5th character. I can make a if it would help at all, I can kind of blank this out and I can upload this on the Discord if you'd like something along those lines. All right, so we have a female Lightfoot halfling. We're going to determine her alignment with 2d100, 55, and 100. This is a chaotic neutral. The most chaotic, because she maxed out at 100. All the dungeons and all the dragons, Plunderloot. Half the dungeons and one of the dragons counters Dark Wolf. OP, I actually would use that. That would be boss. No problem, OP. I can put it up on the Discord here. Okay, she's not evil, so we don't have to worry about this stuff going on here. Now, what level is she? That's going to be a percentile dice. Well, no, dice, because there's 2. 23. We are going to generate a level 6 character. She will get 1 stat bump at level 4. Let's see if that is going to end up being a feat, or she will take the stat bump. 20. She's going to take the stat bump, the ASI or the ability score increase. Her background, we know for sure. We don't need to roll. She's a haunted one. And in fact, if we go over and we look for a little bit of flavor here, Curse of Strahd. She is going to get a D10 harrowing event. Let's roll it. 1. All right, we'll come back to that in just a second. That's a placeholder right now. Now we're going to roll a d12 and determine which class she's playing. Big golden button. Let's hit it. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, she's playing a monk. And there are D3 kinds of monks. Let's make a 3-sided die and roll it down here. 3. Way of Shadow. There we go. I share the stuff I steal from you and with the other DM friends. Hey, none of it's copywritten. I want to spread ideas. The point of this channel is to be a medium for that. You know, and whether or not it's my idea, if you like something that Bubonic has thrown out there, in fact, Bubonic is the one who put the spreadsheet together. If you like what, if you like that, you know, Bobicus has ideas and suggestions. If you want the perspective of someone who's newer to D&D, you have Dark Wolf here. If she says something that resonates, we're here to share ideas. And if something works better, and you're gonna have more fun, you will be more communicative, your game will be better in some way. Everyone wins. It's not a zero-sum game at all. And so I appreciate that sentiment, OP. Half-orc. Where's our halfling? Here we go. Halflings. They start at 2 feet 7 inches, and we're gonna grow them another 2d4 inches here. 3. All right, 2 foot 10 inches tall. Reporting in. We're gonna take this same 3, multiply it by 1 pound, and add it to 35. And she wakes up, looks at herself in the mirror in the morning. She's wearing her jammy jams, and that's it. And she's 38 pounds. That's before any gear or equipment or backpacks and all that other stuff. Now, how old is she? Let's find out with a percentile roll. 23. That is young adult, which is column 2 right here. Right here's young adult. Let's see where it intersects with halfling. She's between 20 and 70 years old. Roll a 50-sided die. 15. She's 35. All right. 2d8 for personality traits. 5 and a 4. 3d6 for an ideal, a bond, and a flaw. 1, 5, 1. Dark Wolf, Wave of Shadow is probably good. Yeah, because you work with darkness. You are a part of it. You know, you're a Shadow Dancer. In 3rd edition, that was a prestige class you could take, was Shadow Dancer. Or Ninja, you could argue. You're a ninja. Well, OP, you can tip your fez to Bubonic one for the spreadsheet. He based that off my original one was an open office document. And it was like a checklist going down with the options. And I managed to finagle it so all the dice, you know, all the stuff was on the first page. And Bubonic does a lot of logistics for his fire department. And he said, I can put that into a spreadsheet format for you. And that's what you're getting. It still needed a tweak on something. Oh, we needed to break up how many feats were available, Bubonic. But I think that was it after this one version 1.1. Okay, so we have finished generating our... Whoop, she is small. SMOL. She is small. We finished generating random numbers. We don't need this. Be gone. Though we are going to start with our background like usual, and we are in our Curse of Strahd book, because that is where you find the Haunted One background. You are haunted by something so terrible that you dare not speak of it. You've tried to bury it and run away from it to no avail. Whatever this thing is that haunts you can't be slain with a sword or banished with a spell. It might come to you as a shadow on the wall, a blood-curdling nightmare, a memory that refuses to die, or a demonic whisper in the dark. The burden has taken its toll, isolating you from most people and making you question your sanity. You must find a way to overcome it before it destroys you. Choose one of Arcana, Investigation, Religion, or Survival. We get to choose one of these things. Also, we get an exotic language as well. Options. So for the name, can we use Alania Two-Stone for her name? Two-Stone is what 38 pounds in stones is, UK weight? Sure. So just keep in mind, we're using the standard array out of the PHB. There we go. I almost want to make a note here. Because we're getting a lot of different things here. Choose one of Arcana, Investigation, Religion, or Survival. You know what? And his word given choices and not just things that are given to us. Let's come back and fill out her personality a little bit more. I think I would feel more comfortable choosing those languages and whatnot based on that. Item, a Monster Hunters pack. Complete with DLC. Goatee edition. And a special trinket, which will be her trinket. But maybe we can make it do, I don't know, something extra special since we're giving everyone a gothic trinket. Her harrowing event was number 1. A monster that slaughtered dozens of innocent people spared your life, and you don't know why. Why were you spared by a horrible monster that just killed everyone else? Good Saturday afternoon to you too, Romonger. Live from Japan, it's Saturday afternoon. Konnichiwa, Romonger. All right, so she survived a monster attack, but it chose. Remember, she didn't just hide from it and it didn't find her. This monster spared her specifically for some reason. Background feature is Heart of Darkness. Those who look into your eyes can see that you have faced unimaginable horror and that you are no stranger to darkness. Though they might fear you, commoners will extend you every courtesy and do their utmost to help you. Unless you've shown yourself to be a danger to them, they will even take up arms to fight alongside you, should you find yourself facing an enemy alone. So it's a little bit like the folk hero Rustic Hospitality, though it's a little bit more on the, instead of hiding you from officials, it's a little bit more offensive. You may even be able to rally them if you would otherwise be alone in a situation. Yeah, that's true. Romonger was posting up some very delicious food prawn. All right, her personality traits. 5 and 4. I don't talk about the thing that torments me. I'd rather not burden others with my curse. And 4, I live for the thrill of the hunt. Her ideal is I try to help those in need no matter what the personal cost. That's kind of showing me that she thought, oh, all right, so you spared me. I'm gonna go back, and maybe she wants to fight this thing, so she'll draw it out like, look, I'm here, I'm killing your minions, I'm going out on a limb. Oh no, I've been beaten up by a bunch of zombies. I'm bleeding everywhere. Oh no, smell of blood in the air. Come on, come out, right? It's like in Predator. You're like, come on, kill me. Bonds 5. There's evil in me. I can feel it. It must never be set free. Ooh. Now, is this a psychological evil? Is this just self-doubt? Maybe did the monster spare her because she is carrying an evil of some kind inside of her? You know, so it's like, you know, she's like incubating an egg or something like that. You know, it could be psychological, it could be physical, it could be emotional. Maybe she thinks that she must be a monster if a monster spared her. But she has to wrestle with that every day that she looks in the mirror when she gets up. And she's like, well, I look like a halfling, but I must be a monster. And flaws, number 1. I have certain rituals that I must follow every day. I can never break them. You want to win the lotto so you can spend a couple months in Nippon? I mean, the food alone is worth it. Yeah, the plunder loot. There's good stuff there. I think it's more of revenge hunting than a taunting. That could be it too, Dark Wolf. And since this is directly a part of her character creation, we'll roll a trinket now and see what it is and how we can work it into her, even into her personality, right? Percentile roll. 69. Well then. Oh, this could be interesting. This could be interesting. A flag from a ship lost at sea. Does that sound familiar to any of you? A flag from a ship lost at sea. Bubonic is thinking 10, 15, 12, 8, 14, 13 with ability gain in Dex. Well, we will. We're going to get to that shortly. Does this ring a bell, anyone? The trinket? Make it a green, yellow, and orange flag. Dark Wolf, what if we ended up making it a... what if we made it a blue flag? Right? I got you. I mean, I was building for everyone else, but a green, yellow, yeah. What if they have flags from the same ship, but they washed up on different shores? What if one has half of a flag and the other has the other half? And Romonger, before your time is up there, I want to try and get you to send me some curry kits they have. Ooh. Romonger, are you going to be our guy on the inside? Can we order food and other delightful, wonderful things from glorious Nippon from you? Yeah, I know, Dark Wolf. I swirled my mouse. I was hinting and winking. Very interesting. Okay. You know, also, it is even more interesting because as a halfling, and we'll get to her racial abilities here very shortly. Pardon me. Halflings are brave. They don't fear too much. Okay, so we need to look at one more thing. Monster Hunters pack. You can buy a Monster Hunters pack for 33 gold, which is cheaper than buying the items in it individually. It includes a chest, a crowbar, a hammer, 3 wooden stakes, a holy symbol, a flask of holy water, a set of manacles, a steel mirror, a flask of oil, a tinderbox, and 3 torches. 3. So we have Monster Hunter pack in her inventory. This is what's in it. So really, instead of a backpack, she's probably she has like a chest that is maybe has some ropes or some straps going around it. And so OP, what in the military, like when you have your big packs on, I'm not trying to be lewd here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that like it's humping, right? Because you have a big hump on your back when you kind of gear up and you get your big backpack on. You'll try. You're on a really tight schedule here. Ooh, candied dried squid. Nom nom. Bubonic. Japanese curry has lots of stuff that you can't find, and in pizza too. The pizzas you can order in Japan are very interesting. I agree. I like a lot of Japanese cuisine. Side note: there's a huge world market in Atlanta that you can get all kinds of food from. It is dominated by Asian and South American cuisine. Cool. Well, it's a rucksack, but I'm talking about the action. The action of, like, carrying it or going around with it. Oh, and it's called rucking as it's done with a rucksack. Gotcha. All right. Must have been to nearly a dozen Asian restaurants around here. And by the way, hi Civil. They only have Thai curry. They never have Japanese curry. Oh, sad. And look at how sad that face is too. I love these emotes. So sad. All like almost like twin waterfalls coming out of his eyes there. All right, here's our haunted one. Let's go over to our player's handbook and scroll up to Halfling. Yeah. Although I don't think our Halfling's going to be this happy. She probably has, like, she's probably kind of pale. She probably has bags under her eyes. Okay, our run speed is 25. So our climb is 12, our swim is 12, and our fly is 0. We get 0 dark vision for being a halfling. Our dex score naturally increases by 2. And we are both lucky. In fact, hey, maybe somehow that halfling luck played into being overlooked. Or again, what's haunting her is, why was I overlooked? Am I special? Am I chosen? She's carrying this thought of there's an evil inside of her. Is it the devil's own luck kind of a thing? Could she doubt her competency? Because fools are often considered lucky. She is also brave. You have advantage on saving throws versus being frightened. We also have halfling nimbleness. And we can move through larger creature squares, which is especially nice if you're playing a mobile character like a monk. Humping, marching, rucking, all ways you can call it. Gotcha, OP. And thank you for the vocab. Oh, hoofing. Oh yeah, hoofing it, right? Bubonic is shouting out olive. Why are we shouting olive, Bubonic? Did I miss something? Roadmonger says, I'm a huge tuna fan, so I've been trying to eat all the tuna in Japan. Oh yeah, if you go to especially if you can make it to a fish market, get it fresh like that. So they'll freeze it and they'll cut it with a bandsaw into chunks or whatever for you. Hey, there's our delightful little song. Now, we get an uncommon language. Infernal, abyssal, celestial. What else was it? Draconic, deep speech, primordial, sylvan, or undercommon. So we'll put in exotic here. Though it doesn't say secret, so Thieves' Cant and Druidic are probably out. Unless, again, if we're PCs addressing our Dungeon Masters, we could perhaps give a reason why. And we still need to choose one skill from Arcana, Investigation, Religion, or Survival. Oh, we have. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Bubonic. That's right. That is the halfling bard you're talking about. So we have a lot of different options up here. So we can choose an exotic language, and we get one of these skills based on her personality. What might she take? And of course, the language that we learn, maybe in that connection where that great monster that slew everyone else and spared her. Maybe that is an impression. Maybe that's what this evil is. Even if she learns celestial or primordial, maybe she feels it's it's some sort of foreign influence in her mind, in her body, that's swirling and slithering through her emotions. Maybe that's what's empowering her to be able to speak this uncommon language. Some of her monk abilities might be flavored so her haunting is the source of their power, not her own training. That is a very good point too, Civil. She might have. This could have happened when she was younger. right? She's only 35. This could have happened when she was, just a, well, I'd say a wee lass, but she's already one. So a wee lass. And so that contact with this otherworldly being could have left that thumbprint on her. And so her body grew and developed into having these supernatural-like abilities, into the ability to create or modify shadows. That is a very good idea, Civil. Question, is this Alania from Barovia? And Bubonic's thrown out, how about Sylvan? You know what? I gave Sylvan to Sapset Met. I'm sorry, to Sapset Met, because he made a pact with the Archfey. And that was the language that I figured he would have been taught by his pact holder. Deep speech, and she is haunted by something from the far realm. The voices made her do it. And something else too. I'm fine with these suggestions. I don't think Derek is with us tonight, or he won't be here until late. But especially as he's the one who's weaving the strands of the campaign together to make a tapestry of horror. I would also want to make sure that we are getting his input too. You all are throwing out some good suggestions and ideas. Here, we'll write down Abyssal, Celestial, Deep Speech, Draconic, Infernal, Primordial, Sylvan, Undercommon. There we go. Sylvan or Draconic, says Dark Wolf, to have more of a connection to Set Met. That may be too, right? What if the flag is somehow worked into this? Because he has the same trinket that she did. I mean, what are the odds of that? Well, I mean, I could tell you it's on a percentile roll. But seriously, we have two characters who rolled the same trinket. Both are a flag from a ship lost at sea. Sylvan can be seriously dangerous monsters. Yes. Think of the Wild Hunt. Fae, we want to say, fairies are pretty and they're the fair folk, and they just want to see flowers bloom and drink fresh dew from leaves. And no. I mean, yes, but also no. Part of the fun times as a group is taking people from other groups into a cohesive group that works together. That dank RP vibe, yo. Are light and dark fae. There are light and dark fae, but even if you come across a light fae, that doesn't mean that they're going to treat you like a friend. They can still treat you like a guinea pig. Okay, we are now a Lightfoot, meaning we're going to come back up here. Our charisma score bumps up by 1. And we are naturally stealthy. You can attempt to hide even when you're obscured by only a creature that is at least one size larger than you. There we go. Which, by the way, if we want to talk about spooky places, let's. If we're looking back here, in the world of Greyhawk, these halflings are called Hairfeet or Tall Fellows. So, if that's ringing any bells for any of you who like the Greyhawk, in which I believe Ravenloft isn't just a setting itself, but is a place, and it does tend to be a little darker. Classes. Now let's go down to Monk. Dun, 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 dun. 6th level, which means that we are concerned with this blue box right here. That's what we're looking at. Yep, some that do go back and forth. Yep, Seelie and Unseelie. And there is a TV show. Now, it is, I believe it's M-rated. Otherwise, it might be like older teen or something. I forget the exact rating. It's called Gone Girl. Gone space Girl. And the main character is caught in the intrigue and politics between the two courts of the Fae. So if you're into the grimmer side of grim fairy tales and the darker side of fairy lore and stuff like that, I could recommend that to you. Though just be aware it does come with an older age rating. Bubonic, one difference between Light and Dark Fae is Dark Fae will stomp on you for poops and ha-has. Light might give you a chance to try and get away. A chance, though, right? Plunder Loot, the new cosmology has Ravenloft as a pocket dimension within the Shadowfell, but in your own setting. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha. Oh, we get 1d8 per monk level. Well, she's level 6, so she's going to have 6 d8, and we've used 0 of them. And of course, we are not multi-classed, so you can add zeros, you can X it out, leave them blank, whatever you want to do. No armor proficiency. For our weapons, we do get simple and short swords. Tools. We'll get an artisan tool or a musical instrument. Maybe this is another choice here. Now, if you all have suggestions, I'll list them after here. But if you think that she's grown up and she's done something, or if we want to use Civil Hermit's idea, where she didn't really study at a monastery, maybe this is just an intrinsic part of who she is because of this selection. You know, she's almost like Guts from Berserk in some weird way. I would recommend reading the manga and watching the original. Well, you could watch the newer ones, but watch the original TV series of Berserk, and you'll see what I'm saying. Though, again, mature content. Her saving throws are going to be strength and dexterity. Her skills, she gets to choose 2 from acrobatics, athletics, history, insight, religion, and stealth. Let's look at her personality. If she's growing up in this kind of mentality, what would she be doing? And that means, though, let's also look at our 1 up here, too. Shadow Fae, bad news in Ravenloft. Maybe she's a Shadow Fae and doesn't know it. That would be quite the twist, wouldn't it, Bubonic? And you know what? Maybe there's a madness that could reflect that, you know? Maybe she actually feels like she's a monster because she is a monster, but she doesn't realize, like, she can conceptualize it, but she's doing it from the other side of the looking glass. Maybe she's a spawn of this thing that spared her. Ooh, are the brain juices flowing in all of you watching this? Are you thinking of a lot of fun ideas for this character? Especially if we want to weave in, because we're not even just doing horror for horror's sake. We're weaving in concepts of self-identity and self-confidence and what is your motivation to live? To continue living in a world that you feel like is just, you know, half a second behind you, or, you know, you almost feel like you're just walking through shadows or things at times. Well, in this case, she might be walking through shadows because of her powers. Acrobatics, athletics, history, insight, religion, and stealth. I'd say I don't talk about the thing that torments me. I'd rather not burden others. I live for the thrill of the hunt. I try to help those in need, no matter what the personal cost. There's evil in me, I can feel it, and must never be set free. And I have certain rituals that I must follow every day. I can never break them. It sounds like she wants to be strong. If she can also naturally hide, but she didn't I don't know, though. She doesn't have to hide, right? This monster spared her. She didn't have to hide. She was out in the open and she avoided death. I don't know if she'd take stealth. My opinion. If you have a different one, you're welcome to put it out there. Maybe athletics, acrobatics, and athletics. Maybe athletics and insight for her monk portion. She's an interesting set of traits. That's responsibility, OCD, if it's OCD. I live for the thrill of the hunt is maybe the thing inside her that she's afraid of. Good. That's a good consideration, Bobicus. Rituals could be purifying or containing rituals. Yeah, well, and so we're getting into, people who feel like they have to flick the light switch 10 times before they leave. Or she has to go through a certain ritualistic prayer. Or she scourges herself. I don't know. Chaotic neutral, Bobicus. She's a very conflicted individual. She is chaotic neutral. She has a direction, but she's kind of wobbling in her way to get there. That's how I'm understanding it anyway. And remember, we can give her artisan tools of some kind. Does she make stuff? Or does she perhaps play an instrument of some kind? Does she play an instrument as part of her ritual? Maybe to soothe herself? Or to sing a hymn to a faith? Or as a way to let the evil out inside? Could that, if she plays an instrument, could that be tied to, one of the languages above? Does she make something as part of a ritual? Every morning, she has to make 10 paper cranes. It's like 10 origami paper cranes or something like that. We could tie in her artisan tool or her instrument into this as well. Pardon me. Chaotic neutral, overwhelmed with guilt, and a soft heart. Kind of a glass cannon, right? She wants to go and hunt, and she'll hunt all day, every day. But she is very fragile herself. Maybe the Wild Hunt overlooked her because she is a shadow or dark fae. Yeah, and maybe she doesn't realize it, Bubonic, for whatever happened. That's a good point, Bubonic. Cares very deeply about people in general, and especially about the people who are close to her. Yeah, she's definitely not unemotional. Like, she hasn't just sort of turned into she's catatonic to the world or something. Thinking you're a bad person for harming a stranger or loved one by an action that you took or an action that you didn't take. And this can also, like, whatever her madness will be, what you're pointing out, Bobicus, can also play into the mechanical in-game trigger for it, too. It seems like she wants to be strong. Do you think that athletics, if we went athletics and acrobatics, do you think that would be appropriate for her? Yep, I get what you're saying, Bobicus. And hopefully those out there in Chatland are also following along. You think she's afraid of the hunt? I think that the desire makes her I think she thinks the desire makes her a killer or a bad person. Well, she is very conflicted, so she may hunt and not like it, but she feels maybe she can't stop hunting. Maybe because that's what she's good at, and even though it makes her feel terrible. I think she has intrusive thoughts about hunting down the people she meets and the members of her party. Well, so Bobicus, are you making an argument that perhaps one of her skills should be insight, or should we not give her insight because that would reflect the fact that she's having difficulty finding peace with her own thoughts, let alone the thoughts of other people? Because you know what, I think she can trust in her strength, and she can trust in her ability to react. You know, she can trust in her physical form. It's the other ones that she's not so sure about. No, no, no. It doesn't cure it, but she wouldn't be proficient at it because she's so conflicted, and she has trouble reading her own thoughts. How could she be able to read other people's? You'd want to give her a knowledge religion. For those of you who are following along too, are you agreeing with Bobicus here? And if we do give her religion, would you want to sacrifice athletics or acrobatics because of her fears about blasphemy? Romonger delivers. If only you could deliver fresh Japanese food. Oh my gosh. Romonger, can you invent like a teleportation machine, please? Sacrifice acrobatics. Sure. Bink. Now another question. Yeah, I know. Wouldn't that be nice, Romonger? Do we want to give her a short sword? Or do we want to give her a simple weapon of some other kind? Right, let's go to equipment. A club, dagger, a great club. Does she really want to go bonking with it? Hand axe, javelin, light hammer, mace, quarterstaff, sickle, spear. Well, she gets unarmed strike. Linking the Dragonborn further, maybe the flag is off the corpse of one of the Fey Noble targets, and she picked it up and dropped it near the halfling, and she sent the Dragonborn to collect it eventually. Well, but they're both going to possess it, is the thing, Bubonic. Common compulsion for people with responsibility OCD is a constant confessing of their intrusive thoughts. Well, remember though, Bobicus, too, I agree with your point, perhaps, that she's learning about religions as ways to cope. But this is it's not a measure of her piety. Just because she's better in religion doesn't mean that she's more pious or that she even practices religions. It's that she can recognize the prayers, the symbols, the she knows basics about common religions themselves, not necessarily how deeply devout she is. Also, simple ranged weapons: a light crossbow, dart, a short bow, or a sling. Do any of these in particular sound like this is what she got? Is she hunting with a hand axe? Is she hunting with a hammer? Does she want to hammer down justice? Do you want to give her a quarterstaff and go bonking with it? Oh, okay. What kind of a simple weapon here sounds good for a hunter like this? At 6th level, our proficiency bonus is 3. Our martial arts are D6s. We have 6 key points. There we go. We have 15 feet of unarmored movement. This is going to put her up to 40, changing climb speed to 20 and swim speed to 20. Still no flying speed. Though she effectively gets a short range teleportation. Eventually. If the party was walking along a narrow path of a cliff and she had an intrusive thought that she could push another party member off the cliff, she would feel compelled to tell them that. I could totally push you off this cliff right now. That's not creepy. But that's a part of the compulsion, I agree. She's trying to come to terms with it. Unarmored movement. We get our... Okay, we're going to also get deflect missiles, so she can catch arrows and even throw them back. Or stones, or bullets. I don't know. We're going to get also slow fall. We're going to get an extra attack. Whoop. Pardon me. I shouldn't hold sneezes in. Stunning strike. Our key strikes are magical. And we do not get evasion just yet. We'll get redonkulous stuff in a little bit. Wave Shadow. Oh, we can use our key to get some things. We are going to get the Shadow Arts. Minor Illusion. And that is going to give us some second level spells here. That is going to give us 1 Darkness, Dark Vision, Pass Without Trace, Silence. There we go. And as our cantrip, we get, let's say, Minor Illusion. We also get Shadow Step at 6th level. Speaking of kind of a teleportation. Gain the ability to step from one shadow into another. When you're in dim light or darkness, as a bonus action, you can teleport up to 60 feet in an unoccupied space you can see. That is also dim light or darkness. You then have advantage on the first melee attack you make before the end of the turn. All right. Plunder Loot saying is not all right. Let's take a look real quick here. Oh man, so Romonger's having the good stuff here. Lunch is served. Nom 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 nom. Oh, and Dark Wolf gave a little update here to her diary. Okay. Yeah, some games don't happen when you want them to. And that they do not. Well, shy of our ability scores, which Bubonic had a suggestion on here, there's some tweaking, right? We have to come up with a couple more things for her. And, oh, speaking of which, Bubonic was saying... Bubonic was thinking if we put our 13 here, our 15 here, 12, 10, 14, and 8. If we do that, our dex is 17. That makes sense. Charisma would bump up to 9. I almost with what we've been going over in chat, and especially with what Bobicus is putting out there, I would almost say, Bubonic, we should increase her intelligence, not just because she has knowledge religion, but because she's actively trying to figure things out. Well, I don't know. I guess I can see the case where she's not too intelligent about anything other than religion, and that's her compulsion. That would reflect her compulsion to try and, go through this ritual, go through this this thing. I don't know. So Bubonic threw something out there. I definitely see what you're getting at. And remember, we have one more skill we can put in too, right? We get to choose Arcana, Investigation, Religion. Well, we have Religion or Survival. We still have one more skill we can throw out there. And, oh, yeah, Bobicus, that is a good phrasing of how she'd go about that. Meanwhile, she's feeling guilty because she's having intrusive thoughts about pushing the party off a cliff in general, but she doesn't want to tell them because she's scared of it. So she's being extra careful about her own steps and freaking out every time the party gets anywhere near the edge because she doesn't know. Yeah. She spent a lot of time hunting before the OCD got bad and constantly has intrusive thoughts about putting an arrow through her party members' throats and doesn't understand why. So she's constantly compulsively looking after her party members to keep it safe. Eltron, hey, yeah, we're having quite an interesting conversation about this haunted character. For me, it's been a great Friday. Thank you. And then survival because she's a hunter. I do think that makes sense, Bobicus. Plunderloot is saying investigation so she can figure things out, or survival for hunting. Well, I don't know. I do agree investigation could make sense, but I think she's more the I'm not here to be reactive. I'm here to be proactive. Well, I guess survival could be considered a reactive, but I think survival will work. Let's drop it in survival. There we go. And if we go with his stats, right? So then we have a 17 and we have a 9. And then Bubonic was mentioning that the ASI at level 4 is between Dex and Charisma, to bump that up to an 18 and to bump her Charisma up to a 10. Now, out of curiosity, though, Bubonic, why would you want to bump her? And I'm not opposed to this idea, but why would you want to bump her Charisma to a 10 and not her Strength to a 14? Especially if she does pride herself on being strong and being a hunter. Does the Charisma represent some kind of growth in the character, or? What does the charisma bump instead of, if we're rounding, what does the charisma bump instead of the strength bump mean for you? More intimidating. She's a nice person. She seems like she wants to be liked. Okay. Those are... Hey, I wanted to prompt the idea. I definitely wasn't trying to second guess you. Not that you're saying that I was doing so. Overly nice and soft-hearted because she's so scared of herself. Okay. That works. There we go. This means that we can start filling in some things. Right? We have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I have my finger on the button already. 3. 5 in survival. 1. 7. 4, 4, 4. And 4 and 4. There we go. Current hit points. She gets 8 hit points at first level because that's her hit die. Then she has 5 other... Whoops. Oh, geez. What am I doing here? 5 other levels of half plus 1. And she also gets bonus HP for every single one of her levels, equal to her Constitution modifier. So we have 6 plus 25 is 31, plus 8 is 39. Initiative plus 4. Armor class for monks, if they're not wearing any armor, is their dex plus their wisdom. So she has a 16 right now if she is unarmored. Passive perception is 10 plus 2 for 12. This makes, for any key-based effects, that is based off of wisdom. So 8 plus 2 is 12, so 15 is the DC to overcome it. And any key-based attacks would be at a plus 5. That will make her her martial arts. She's swinging in at 7. 1d4 plus 4 piercing. 1d6 plus 4 magic bludgeoning. And we need to determine what kind of other weapon. Do we want to give her a short sword of some kind? Do we want to give her another kind of simple weapon? Could the weapon of her choice reflect her image, her personality? Maybe it reflects how she thinks she can slay the beast. I think so. I think her weapon is an extension of herself. So what kind of a simple weapon or a short sword would we want to give her? And also, do we want to tie it into the ritual, but she does get artisan tools of some kind or an instrument proficiency of some kind. Ring of Flare, it's good to see you back. Howdy y'all to you too. The singular y'all, because, I mean, y'all could be singular or plural. How do you do, says Bobicus. Civil charisma increases also makes sense if the shadowy fae thing gets used. Okay. Something blunt. She would not like sharp things. So tonfas could be clubs. So she could carry a club. Here, if we let's go back to equipment. She gets a simple weapon. So from club to sling, or a short sword if we wanted. Club, dagger, great club, hand axe, javelin, a light hammer, which can be thrown also, a mace, bonky bonk, quarterstaff for bonky bonk, sickles for slashing, spear for piercing. We can give her unarmed strike. Light crossbow, darts, short bows, and slings. There aren't, but because these are monk weapons, she can still attack with her monk proficiency, Bobicus. So if we go with Mr. Plunderloot here, if she wields a quarterstaff, she can use Dex. Hammers, maces, sickles, spears, javelins, hand axes, great clubs, daggers, and regular clubs. Light crossbows, darts, short bows, and slings. You think a Tonfa would be a mace bubonic? Could be. While these are suggestions that are out here, you do have these are the Wuxia weapon names. For clubs, it would be a Bien or a Tonfa. Though if you want to have a mace and call it a Tonfa, maybe. It's a Chui in China or a Kanabo in Japan. Hey, American Pie. She can use it as a walking stick, Plunder Loot. Meow. You want to come up and say hi to everyone? Hey, you do. Welcome. Great Club would be a bad choice because not usable with martial arts trait as it has... Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It has two-handed. Oh, what luxurious purring you have, Miss Sophie. Am I just squeezing them out of you here? Yeah, it's a bumper crop of purrs right now. That is if we're concerned with the mechanic side. We don't necessarily have to be. She's not a super weakling. She has a 13 strength. Maybe she speaks softly and carries a big stick. I like the idea you see an anime where they have the rings on top of the bow or the quarterstaff that many monks have. Yeah, we can put cosmetic stuff in there. Your cat howls at night, you need to trade her for a quieter one? Oh, Miss Sophie is very quiet, except when she purrs. And sometimes she drools when she purrs. It's absolutely wonderful. And she loves pets. She loves her forehead being touched. If you just touch her forehead, she is absolutely, like, she's delighted. A heavy metal nightclub. Well, it looks like I've got a lot of suggestions here for a quarterstaff. Though that is good to know. I mean, look, Bob, because there's no ink to even dry on here. There we go. So now really it would just come down to her exotic language that she gets for her Haunted One background. And do we want to give her proficiency with an artisan tool, which I can scroll down to. An artisan tool of some kind, or an instrument. And if we do we want to make those connected with her compulsive ritual every day? Shaped a bit like a sword, so maybe use as a short sword switch to Bien. Ah. Eltron, I have a turtle sage that has a staff with the rings like that. It took forever to figure out a good pose to draw him in. Sybil says Google search says a kakara is a staff type with rings on it. Hey, we're learning. We're learning stuff. Isn't that right? Look at that. We're learning things. Just touch your forehead. Lem? Okay. She's happy. What a happy cat. Yeah, he's the most passive of my Beast Kings, but he's also the most respected. When he speaks, everyone stops to listen. Bobicus says abyssal. Abyssal. And Sylvan. Yeah, you know, if we wanted to have a connection in some way to Sapset Met here, I gave him Sylvan because of his pact with the Archfey. I thought it made sense. You could give her an alchemist supplies. Maybe she's searching for a cure to this haunting curse. I think she's trying to find that through hunting. I don't know if she's trying to find a liquid way out of things. But, you know, does she carve little dolls maybe? Does she, I don't know, does she cook? Is one of her rituals she has to eat the same thing every morning at the same time? I don't know. Something to think about. There is in the campaign setting a large tree with a spirit trapped inside of it as well. And that might be a central point of the campaign. I don't know specifically because I don't want to intrude too much on what Derek is doing because that would spoil it for me as well. Traditional Chinese medicine. I mean, so that could be an herbalism kit maybe. Or a poisoner's kit. I don't know. There's a fine line between poison and medicine. But there are things to consider. I got to get up, and especially because I spilled my tea. I spilled my tea at the beginning of the program, right as I was coming on to. And I'm kind of thirsty. I'm going to get up. I'm going to take a 10-minute break. I'm going to get something else to drink, and I'm going to eat a little bit of chips and salsa too, because I can. Hey, Caden's here. Dusts off his disheveled robe as he enters through the doorway, removing his hat for a moment to brush a cobweb off. He sets the pointy magician cap back on his head and saunters in, sitting down lazily on a tree stump-shaped chair. If she was a drunken master, it would have been brewer supplies. Hey, yeah, you know, you get some liquid courage in you, right? That would have been interesting, Plunder Loot. But I said Abyssal because she thinks her intrusive thoughts are the works of demons tormenting her and spent some time learning about demons. That could very well be, Bobicus. That is a very good explanation. Also, some TCM practitioners were alchemists in olden times. Oh, traditional Chinese medicine. Yep. Yeah, it's a fine line too, right? Poison, medicine, alchemy. All right, well, things to ponder. I'm going to get up and I'm going to take a break here. I'll be back in about 10 minutes or so, all right? And we'll go from there. Thank you all.